Hey! Hi. This is Michael. So Michael and I were talking about Asperger's. I've got some friends who have grandchildren, children that have been struggling with what to do, how to help these unique individuals. And so I got my son to...
Asperger's. It's unique. It's amazing, really. But when it comes right down to it, the first step to dealing with it is to recognize it's not a disorder. You're simply different. To think of it as something that you need to cure is a mistake.
So what did you say about not curing? What do you say you have to teach kids what to do? You have to teach them...
You have to teach them the social skills that they would normally... Normal children, they just get it. It's just part of them. With Asperger's kids, it's a trade-off. They don't get social skills, they get enhanced intelligence and other things.
Okay.
But it's something that they have to learn. It's something that they have to be taught.
So how to cope with who they are, and as well as how to exist in a cookie cutter world?
Exactly.
So in the public school system, they might be getting in trouble because they're not existing in the cookie cutter world, right?
Asperger's kids don't fit inside a cookie cutter at all.
Put it back up there.
In fact,
that was a fall.
In fact, Asperger's kids, if you ask me, we fit into...
Your own mold.
There is no mold for anyone with any kind of autism.
Yeah.
It's been proven. Why does that keep happening?
Okay. I'm going to put it back up here. Just put your finger right there. So, the quick down and dirty is Michael and I are going to come up with some... Michael and I, my son and I, and we're driving, but are going to come up with some quick, helpful, maybe hints, maybe insights. What was the first insight you said? You said something. You said, don't...
Step 1. Stop trying to cure your kid.
Okay.
Asperger's is not a disease or a disorder. It is a different way of thinking.
Did you hear that? He said it's a different way of thinking. But it is on the DSM-5 diagnostic criteria, but that's really being
Technical.
For the parent or for the grandparent, it's really I just call it a uniqueness. And unfortunately, most of society doesn't see that. But when it comes to the family and to home and to you don't have to do what everybody else does. I will say
your Asperger's child is going to be incredibly unique. You're going to have to work a solution that works specifically for them. But it also needs to treat the biggest problem that I think Asperger's kids have, and that's their social issues.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if you were going to say, how do we teach them that? Because like when we were in Indianapolis, you had classes where you were... Oh, what'd you do? You cut out of magazines, different facial features.
Now, to be completely honest, I can barely remember that back in Indianapolis. What I can tell you is how I learned it. And I had to learn it the hard way. It wasn't necessarily easy. But it was more of a trial and error. What worked, what didn't with people. But that was my unique solution. It will be different for everyone.
Okay.
What you really should do is I think that you just need to start somewhere. For some kids, that's going to mean go get a psychiatrist. For others, that means sit down with parents and just get started. Create a plan. Talk about it.
So did you hear that? So he's saying we should create a plan, talk about it, be open about it.
The first step to solving any problem is admitting that there is a problem.
Okay. So I think we're going to leave it at that, but we'll come up with some more ideas, some tips, some tools. Bottom line is, don't try and cure your kid, or don't try and cure your son or your daughter or your granddaughter.
To do that is to deny their unique position.
And this is not to assume that people are trying to cure them. I think unfortunately, it's really that maybe society or the school systems are trying to cure them.
Which is more, in my experience, society and the school systems, the government, they're not at our level. They refuse to identify our uniqueness and live with it because the public school systems, they're cookie cutters.
Okay. All right, so we're going to leave it at that. If you like to hear more about autism spectrum disorders and or specifically Asperger's, comment down in the doobly-doo down there, and or actually subscribe. I don't know why everybody says that on YouTube. I don't, subscribe. But I think it hopefully, and let me know if you think this is helpful. And I'm going to try and tap more of Michael's uniqueness and see what he has as far as insight, and we'll leave it at that. And now you can hit the red button.